Hi, this is Grandma Lori. Today's story is Darryl in the Kitchen. Wow, that flour got everywhere, Darryl said after dropping a cup of flour into a big silver bowl. Darryl was helping his mom make chicken and dumplings for a get-together they were having that night. They had a long list of things to make, including pies, cookies, bread, and a little finger food. Mom looked over and said, "I guess you have a mess to clean up, my love. Go get the little vacuum." "That's what I use to make my flour messes go away." They both laughed. After cleaning up the floor, Darryl was ready to start on the dumplings. "Okay, Mom, the flour's in the bowl. What's next?" he asked. "Carefully break one egg into the flour. No flour clouds, please. And make sure there are no eggshells in there," handing Darryl an egg. Darryl cracked the egg against the side of the bowl and gently poured the contents into the flour. "Success!" Mom said, "Great job! Now stir the egg and flour together. From time to time, hold your spoon up to see if the mixture runs off or drops off." Darryl stirred and stirred, then held the spoon up as Mom said. After a few minutes, the egg and flour turned into perfect drops. "Mom," Darryl asked as he was stirring, "how do you know how to do all this? I mean, nothing's written down." Mom laughed. "Oh, sweetie, I learned to cook when I was younger than you. Your grandma was such a good cook. I loved watching her in the kitchen as she created one delicious dish after another. After a while, I just naturally started helping, kind of like you are today." The mixture was ready to drop into the soup. As Mom dropped spoonfuls into the broth, Darryl was so excited to see the drops fluff up and turn into dumplings. This soup was going to be great. "What was the first thing you made with Grandma?" asked Darryl as they finished the dumplings. "We'll let those cook for a little bit. Let's go wash the dishes, and I'll tell you," Mom said. They put the dishes they had used to make the soup into the sink. Mom was going to wash while Darryl dried. "The first thing I ever made was, well, I guess I was 4 years old. Grandma let me make scrambled eggs." "I love scrambled eggs," said Darryl. "I want to learn how to make them like you do. Your scrambled eggs are so good." "I'll teach you," Mom said. After that, I was hooked. Grandma never had any written recipes. She learned, like you're learning, from her mom. Darryl was confused. He remembered all the delicious things his grandma made and couldn't figure out how she remembered all those recipes without having them in writing. Grandma had a great memory for cooking. She made those dishes for years, so the recipes just came back naturally, said Mom, remembering her mom in the kitchen. "That's amazing," said Darryl. "I want to be able to cook like you and Grandma." "Practice, sweetheart, practice. The more you do it, the more you'll remember," Mom said. "Let's go sit at the table and talk before we get started on the pies." Darryl and Mom sat at the table. Darryl asked, "What's your favorite memory of being in the kitchen with Grandma?" "Oh my," said Mom. "There are so many memories. It would probably be the first time she let me use a rolling pin. She was making pies and asked me to help roll out the pie crust. It took me a long time to get the dough just the right thickness. While I was rolling, Grandma told me stories of when she was a little girl, learning how to cook from her mom." Darryl thought for a moment. He could see how those recipes came down from one mom to the next. He wanted to be part of that line. "Will you teach me like Grandma and Great-Grandma taught you?" he asked. "Absolutely," said Mom. "It's time to pull the soup off the fire. Let's go check it out." They took the soup off the stove and put it on the counter to cool a bit. They spent the rest of the afternoon cooking, cleaning, and chatting. It was Darryl's favorite day ever. He got to spend time learning about his mom. The more they talked, the more questions Darryl had. It was time for the get-together. Guests arrived, and everyone sat down at the big table in the dining room. It was time for soup. "Oh, these are perfect," said Mrs. Winters. "I love dumplings. I love those especially." Darryl was so happy to hear that. No wonder Mom loved it when he said her cooking was good. This has been Grandma Lori. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the story.